need to get this shit out from my system. Oh, and this video is to, this person. Yeah, because you asked me if I was gonna do a review on a particular con. Hey, it was almost a year late, but I just, right. So, I won't name the con. It's, I won't do that. I'll try my best not to do that, but just know I was here in Florida, and it was, if you really want to get a good idea where it could possibly be, it was in Orlando, of all fucking places. Where the fuck do I begin with this? Okay. This happened last year. Again, I won't name the fucking con. Just, I won't name the con. All I'm going to say is they made it to seem like it was a big ass thing, and it was not. So to give you an idea, it was one of those riki-yaki cons that try to steal a lot of your money for tables, and then the people just don't fucking show up, and it was trash. Fucking trash. How the hell did this start? Well, I really wanted to get started on becoming a full-time convention artist. It might and probably will change later on to maybe part-time, depending on how much work I get and how things go. But my goal is to become a full-time convention artist because as much as I like freelancing, it's a little unstable at times, especially for someone like me that while I participate in the furry fandom, I do and always have been doing anthropomorphic style artwork. I don't really get a lot of commissions, and people don't really know me, and I try, but I mainly like to do it at conventions because I know people are there, and my artwork fits in those type of conventions. But anyways, that's not the point of the video. And I was searching for conventions, right? And I'm like, okay, let me look through Google and just, search for shit on Google. And a couple of conventions popped up. And I was like, okay, well, this is cool. And that's when I discovered Megapolis. And I went to Megapolis back in 2017. And last year I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go again, but this time 3 days. So I was going to that. I was going to MegaCon. I went to one at Clearwater, which was awesome. I loved it. And I'm actually going there again, but hopefully I can get 2 tables. And then there was this one that I think we went in February or March. And this ties in as to how this other con I went to was trash. So we went to this one. It was hosted at a hotel. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to reveal it because then you'll be able to figure out which con I'm talking about. And it took my dad forever to find it because my phone died and GPS was acting like absolute garbage, and we got kind of lost, and we had to stop at a gas station that was in a really sketchy area, and I was just like, oh fuck, my father's probably having a fucking heart attack. He comes with me because I can't really operate a table by myself. I have a lot of artwork and stuff, and people sometimes try to steal, and I can't always be there because I gotta go to the bathroom, I gotta eat, I gotta talk to someone, right? So he's there, and but we find it. Thankfully, we found it. We set up the table. I didn't really have much at that time. And then we drive back home. We go again. I believe my mother came with us. We drove back. And I don't know why, but we got there kind of late. And I was kind of worried because sometimes some conventions have it to where if you don't show up at a certain time, or after a period of time, if you're not there at your table, it's gone. Like, if someone else there, blah blah blah, it's gone. They're that strict, but it wasn't like that. We show up and we're like, okay, there should be some people here. And we would kind of wheel in my stuff. I didn't really have the means to really display my stuff correctly, so sometimes things were falling and shit. I kind of looked around, and I discovered this this con through Google, and then I found the Facebook page, and it seems like I had a decent following, so I'm like, okay. The tables were, oh god, I forgot how much the tables were. I think they were, $70 for 1 day. Barely anyone showed up. In fact, quite a bit of the people that did, A lot of people have made videos about how people smell like death itself at conventions, which they'll shower or I don't know, I'm not gonna assume. But I'll never forget, I was sitting there next to my poor mother, bless her soul for suffering there with me. And there was this gentleman walking by, just walking by. And the stench just appears out of nowhere and violated our nostrils like tentacle fucking sets. And I almost gagged. I don't know what the hell to call it, but I just literally gagged. Oh, and this convention had this, no food out from outside rule. Bitch, there were a bunch of people bringing Papa John's, McDonald's, Subway, and stuffing their faces with said food in there. I'm sitting here like, why would you have a rule if you're not even gonna enforce it, or at least try to? So, I saw maybe 2 books. Bless the person that brought those 2 books and had me sign them. If you happen to ever come across this video, thank you. And then I saw Vertigo, the Snake Monster Queen, Furry Crush, early 90s, whatever snake thing from Primal Rage. Yeah, that. It was god awful. Barely anyone showed up. So, to me, what occurred is that they have their Facebook page, and then they paid for ads and likes and shit like that to kind of boost it up, but in reality nobody knows fuck all about it. And I'm not gonna call him fat, I'm just gonna call him a Simple Gwen. This Simple Gwen comes out of nowhere and starts handing out the application or sign up form for another con that they're trying to pull. And it's for one day and nobody knows fuck all about it, and they're charging $100 for the table. I'm like, for one day? Okay, sure. Now, I can understand if you're already an established con and you consistently have people, I can understand, but if you're really starting out, if I were you, start low. Get the word out. I understand that they're trying to, bring back the cost by whatever they have to pay for, let's say, the hotel or getting a location and getting things set up. But if you can't even do that out of pocket or without any sort of, don't even, I'm sorry, but don't even bother yourself. I know this sounds rude, and I know it seems kind of doing conventions for free and not, but, if you're serious about it and you need to start low. Because it's unfair for the artists that don't really make back their tables, or that's their first time at the convention, or maybe an experienced artist is there, and they're just wasting their time mainly because they're not making back what they usually would do at another convention. They could actually be at home producing more art. But anyways, moving on. This convention I went to, the one that I'm actually going to talk about, was run by the same damn people. Now, my ass had no idea. Absolutely no idea that it was run by the same fucking people. Oh my goodness, when did we go to this? This had to be, this was after Megapolis, because I remember my father was so sad and he was like, oh my god, but where's all the gay people? Where are all the happy people? Yes, furries, you left an impression on him. He almost cried because he didn't see any furries at that particular convention. But anyways, I had no idea it was run by the same imbeciles. And it was a small con, but the table was $30. And I'm thinking, well, okay, it's a one-day con. It was, they labeled themselves as a toy and comic con. So I'm thinking, okay, some of my comic books should do okay in there. I have a bunch of art prints, a bunch of, so I'm able to sell at least something in there. It was on I think it was on a Saturday. My mother her health declined quite a bit since then, so she couldn't come with us. I'm actually really glad she didn't, because she would have cussed up a storm. We went. It wasn't really hard to find. It was in Orlando, like I said. But what really bothered me was that it was in a neighborhood Like, I was expecting maybe a hotel or maybe a convention center, and I'm like, and I check Google Maps, and I made sure the phone was charged and everything. I'm like, Dad, can you, drive around? He's driving, and I made sure to have and we're driving around, and I'm like, okay, Dad, it's here. And it was at some sort of recreational little center with a pool in the back. Barely any parking, like none. We're like, okay, well. And the shitty ass sign, like this sign looked like it was done like in the last minute. Toy and Comic Con. Okay. We get out from the car, go inside. This chill looking motherfucker was standing there. Oh, thank you so much for showing up. And I said, oh my god. You're welcome. And right. We start pulling the stuff out from the car. I start helping him, and I start sitting at my table. And the display looked. I actually have pictures, of that, but I won't indicate which one it is. If you happen to be someone that was there, I sincerely apologize for what I'm going to say. For the next, I guess, 5 to 10 minutes of talking, just fucking trash about this particular convention. It's alright. So I'm getting things set up, and it takes me quite a little bit because I was still working with the wire grid displays, and they're kind of heavy, and then my dad has to help me hold them and put the screws in and shit. Well, since then I have brought a proper and easier display for my art prints, so my father and I, and even my mother, we don't have to deal with that heavy crap, and I'm actually gonna set them off to a fellow furry that needs them. So, and the people are coming in, setting up, but there wasn't that many. That was already a red flag. There was maybe 10 total in there. And I'm thinking, they got so much hype on Facebook. Yes, it was a Facebook fucking page. Their Twitter account is what's going on? And then you got like a bunch of folks in the back cooking, whatever the hell they're cooking. So, yeah, we got a table set up. My father goes to the front to get like these tickets or wristbands to wear. He comes back and he tells me that the cunt wouldn't give him one because blah blah blah. The reason for this is because I couldn't find ours. It got lost while I was just taking out a bunch of my stuff and art prints and hanging them. And so I told that, can you please go in the front and get another one? And the lady would not give it to him. I went to the front and asked the lady, hey, I misplaced my father's and mine. Basically asked her, can you please give us? And she gave it to me, and it kind of drew me off. Right? I'm biracial. I'm mixed. Right? My mother is mixed as well, but she's lighter skin tone than both me and my father. My father is dark skinned. My parents are from Cuba. They're Latino. They're Hispanic. I was born here in the U.S. So we're mixed. But this isn't the first time this happened to my father, where someone would presume they don't understand what the hell he's saying, and then I would come along and, oh yeah, no, that's fine, and they're perfectly fine with me. I found out later that's because they were fucking racist trash. But I put that to the side and thinking, well, maybe she just didn't understand what my father was saying. English is their second language, so sometimes sometimes people don't catch what exactly they're saying, and then I have to say, well, my father said this and this and this. So I go back. This shit is garbage. Nobody showed up. I think a couple pieces from the neighborhood itself show up, And it's not to say, oh, well, I'm saying it's trash because I didn't make that much money. No, it was trash. Because nobody was making any sort of profit. Nobody showed up. There was kids running back and forth in front of my table and around the alleys and shit like that. I think some people brought some heavy stuff to display. And I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, if my display or whatever other people's display falls and hits one of these kids, and nobody was controlling these kids. They were wrestling against each other in the middle of the floor. Okay, and this was the point for me when I was just like, okay, this is hella trash. So this is my table, right? There's a table next to mine, and then I think there was one more towards the left, and then over there that's the kitchen area, right? And then there's a table in front of me, selling whatever the hell they were saying, and then the table to my right, and then like maybe I think one more, and then there's a table that goes across. So already there's not really a lot of room. They're serving food. They're making their own food. We have no idea what ingredients they're using or what the fuck they're cooking. I can already tell it's Hispanic food. Arroz con andouille. Rice with beans, basically. And some other crap they're cooking. They're making black beans and other stuff. And I'm like, well, I mean, how worse can it get? At least we'll get some free food, right? There's this fucking bitch that's cooking, right? And she's serving the food. Now, she goes to almost each and every table. I really hate to bring up the race shit. I'm not going to. But I'm pretty sure that was that. Based on previous experience. This is why I'm so grateful for the furry fandom. Of being so open and so... Because sometimes I and other peeps of color and vice versa and what have you cross through that during conventions. But I'm not gonna get into that. This cunt comes out and she starts placing the food. She purposely skips my fucking table and serves the food to the table next to us. And I'm sitting here like... And when she comes out again, I call out to her and she fucking ignores me. She served to every single table except for mine. I never spoke to this woman. I didn't cuss anyone out. I was 100% professional. Even though the call was complete fuckery in of itself. And the con skips our table because she didn't like us for some reason. And I almost want to say it was probably because of my art. But I'm not gonna go there. One creepy ass motherfucker stepped on my table and was like, "Oh, your art's creepy. Oh no, that art's scary." And I'm sitting here like, and they were pointing to the artwork that was from Bloody Roar. Now, for those of you that are from the Fuzzy fandom and recognizes the name, Bloody Roar was a fighting video game series that came out during the late 90s. This was around the time the PlayStation 1 was released. They released quite a number of games, and I believe at least the last good one in my opinion was Bloody Roar 4. The voice acting is atrocious in that one, but hilarious if you watch the cutscenes. And you have all these human fighters, and they transform to anthropomorphic animals, and they fight and beat each other. And it's part of my Project Revival series, so I do artwork. And also falls under the video game category and also retro video game category. So for those that are into retro video games and things like that, well, there you go. You get everything all in one package. They were mainly pointing that out, and I'm just sitting here like, holy fucking shit. I've never experienced this. I've normal conventions, at regular conventions. I understand that people are gonna have a different opinion, but that's kind of fucking rude. If you're gonna say something, oh, yours trash. Oh, that's creep. Don't say anything. Walk on. Don't even stop. Why'd you even stop at my table to tell me something that I know is not true, and that you're just saying it because you're a fucking cunt? But let me stop. We left early. It was awful. More kids were running around. One actually bumped into my table and nearly knocked down my display. Knocked down another table. And it was just atrociously bad. The place smelled bad too. They were doing some sort of... Oh, and by the way, they tried to do a cosplay contest. Nobody was there. Only the little kids. I'm serious. I think about 3 or 4 people showed up at that convention. And they charged $30 fucking for a table. And then, I figured out it was run by the same people, but I saw this particular fat cunt walk in with his fucking gomamentary. with the shitty toys and shit that he sells that I know he's barely making any bank of. And I was like, oh, Dad, look, it's that person that we saw at the last convention, at the Toy and Comic Con or whatever. And he went, oh, and I was like, oh no, this is gonna be bad. And I was right. It was run by the same damn people. And I was like, Dad, we need to go. We need to leave. Nobody's making any profit. Nobody's here. This false advertising. How the lady gave us attitude for no reason. Again, we never spoke to her. I never cussed her. I'm like this with those that are close to me, and pretty much in general. Okay, but when I'm at the convention scene, or I'm normally professional. I don't cuss out at people. I'm not like that. But when it comes to being straightforward and just pretty much blunt, I'm like this. I'm calling people fat cunts or whatever, and that's because really they deserve to be called that because they did something to piss me off. And I was like, you know what, Dad? We need to go. We need to get the hell out of here, please. And it was so bad that he almost cried. He went outside and called my mom, and she's still crossing through health problems. He called my mom and was like, oh man, this convention's so bad and nobody's buying anything. Oh, and here's another kicker. There's a table like a couple of tables across from us, right? And that table's selling like, the small show fan art, Pokemon and all that. No offense to those that do it. I love it if you put your own twist to it. If you put your own style into it. If you're just copying and pasting, basically, go fuck yourself. I'm saying it straight up. If you're not gonna be creative with the source material, don't fucking do it. That's why I do the armor fuse versions of Pokemon. I have this one where there's Hitmonlee in the armor of Assel. I have the Goombas dressed up as certain Pokemon or look like certain Pokemon because it's things that I notice that I don't see at conventions. So it's like, okay, let me try this, let me try that. Hey, let me do this, let me do that. Me. And I just like being creative, So he goes outside, he calls my mom. He's just like, oh man, I can't believe there's nobody here. I'm about to go to this dude and give him money and just get him to buy my daughter's work. And it's just like, why the hell would you even think that? I don't need that. I need to go to conventions at the right conventions and, just talk to people and sell work. And, well, if I don't make money, well, too bad. It happens. But when it's a shitty convention, then yeah, it's gonna happen. And not just only me. He did that a couple of times. And until finally I'm just like, let's get the hell out of here. I go to the bathroom and we get the fuck out. I was still in the Furries a Cutter chat, and I kind of hinted about it. Well, this is my review. It is trash! It's garbage! I went as far as leaving a Facebook review. Oh man, those cunts were after me like no tomorrow. They hated me. I didn't cut, but I left a critical review under convention, and I told them, do not go to any convention run by these peeps, because they're actually, sometimes when they do this whole, we're gonna start a new con, a lot of times they're doing it to make back money, or just to make money in general. Not all conventions do this, and I'm sorry to those that are starting to create your own conventions but it's just to give you an idea of what you have to be careful of, especially when it comes to pricing of the tables. Because if I notice that the convention's not really known online and you're charging $100 plus for the tables, I'm not even gonna bother myself, because I know not a lot of people are gonna come, or I'm just not gonna bother myself. But anyways, I left this bombing, damning review, and they just fucking hated me. They started cussing me out on Facebook. I'm just like, you know what, get over it. Get over it. Go ahead and continue to scam people. There was maybe one artist that was making a little bit of cash, but I know her ass was not making that much. And I hate to make it seem like it's all about money, but you're spending time, you're driving there, sometimes you bring your own food, you're producing art prints, you're taking time to set up the table, and then you have to be at the table, and then you have to talk to the customers, and sometimes, the customers like to chit chat with you about your art. You have to go through all of that, and then when you have to do what I did, it's really depressing. So that is that. Damn, it was a little longer. How long am I going for? I think I'm going for 25 minutes. Well, here you are, wonderful 25 minutes of me shitting upon this con. I won't mention the name, but there was this other con I was thinking of going to, but then I kind of did my research and realized it was the same peeps that were from that core group that ran the first two bombing shitiful cons that I went to. But that is that. Not every con's gonna be like this, especially they're starting. I highly recommend trying to get in touch with the owner or those that are organizing it. Go there as a con goer. That was my mistake. I should have done that. But it's in Orlando. We're not from Orlando, that's all I'm gonna say. So, going there just to, it would be kind of a waste of a drive and things like that. I know it seems kind of petty. Oh my goodness, I'm actually getting a migraine talking about this. But anyways, thank you so much for listening and viewing this video. I don't know what the hell I'm going to be doing on screen, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be coloring the dragon still again. I'm actually going to do a speed last video of that particular dragon. It is from the Project Revival series, Dragon Seas, where I reimagine all the creatures and characters from that series. I'm actually going to make a comic book series based on the concept of that particular video game. If you like this, give it a like. If you dislike it, well, I can only imagine the only reason you dislike it is because I'm cussing like a motherfucker here. I don't care. That's that. Take care, stay safe, and do your research before you go grab a table at a con. Bye-bye.